Ladies and gentlemen, today I come to bring you bad news. That's right, you're wishing upon a star. You're looking for the good news. I'm not bringing it to you. I have multiple updates today about upcoming Switch 2 games, and in my opinion, it's all bad news, as well as some strange bad news about Switch games. So yeah, let's go and get right into this video. That's right, every day it's up, down, up, down. This is how the news is going right now. Maybe when we were younger, we didn't realize like bad stuff was happening in the industry. You were just playing games. I don't know if it's like social media or just being older, but nothing is just normal right now. So I feel like we had some good Switch 2 news. And then, I made a video about all the bad stuff happening recently. And we have some major games that are upcoming. And I just had bad news for that as well. So you just gotta deal with it. So before we get started, if you could hit a like and subscribe, that would truly mean the world to me. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram so we can keep our amazing communities growing. I'm not just saying this to say this. Follow the social medias. Let's keep these communities growing. Hit the subscribe button and we will be the next big thing. And let's go ahead and get into this. So first, before we get into these Switch 2 updates for upcoming games, we know Nintendo is still supporting the Switch heavily. And that makes sense, You would be a dummy not to. Like, there's over 100 million people who have a Switch. That's actually crazy to say. So sell these games. I feel like the games that are out are the games that are out, and they're not gonna like reprint them or what is the word I'm looking for? Like distribute them. But they are. Now, here is where it gets very odd. The cases are starting to look different. And I feel like it's because of what's going on with the Switch 2. And let me explain what I'm talking about. So, ladies and gentlemen, here is a picture that you would see at a random store, right? And at first glance, these just look like Switch games. Maybe something catches your eye, maybe it doesn't. But when you look a little bit closer, so I think this translates to download code only, right? So, yeah, I think this translates to download code only. So what I think is happening, we see game key cards with the Switch 2. Obviously, I don't think that's an option for the Switch. At least I hope not. So maybe we're just getting codes in boxes for a lot of Switch games. Like that's how they're going to redistribute them. I don't know. But what it seems like is if you see a Switch game with a red case, it is now going to be a download code. That sucks. Like that's stupid. So I don't know what's going to happen here, but I do find this very strange. Now let's start getting into these updates about upcoming Switch games. We talked about Final Fantasy yesterday, and I said, this is great news. We have the trilogy coming over to the Switch 2. That's fantastic. I don't know how it's going to run because Rebirth is really taxing, and I can't imagine Part 3. But the fact that the producer said it's coming over, they have to know that they can get this done, or at least be positive about the outcome. I would like to pick up Remake on the Switch 2, but I've already beat it, and I just don't feel like, wasting the money again, especially because it's not a physical copy. I believe it's only $40. That's not bad, but if you pre-order it, and this is for the digital, I'm not sure about the physical, but I believe up until January, you get a copy of the original game, and that's really cool as well. Here is where they're losing me, right? So not only is Final Fantasy VII Remake going to be a game key card, it is going to be 90 gigabytes. And you may say, well, that's the reason why it's a game key card. I really don't want to hear that. We've seen what Cyberpunk was able to do, and that's the game plus DLC. I'll be honest, I beat Remake. I don't think you need integrated there as well. They could have just ported over Remake, charged $40, $35, whatever, and made it like a 60 gigabyte cartridge and had a physical copy. If you don't think 90 gigabytes is crazy, if you do not have a micro express SD card, that is 1/3 of your entire Switch 2 storage. This is a defining reason why game key cards absolutely suck, man. Like, that is so crazy. They're truly forcing you to have to buy more storage. So any chance I feel like I had at buying Final Fantasy VII Remake, I'll be honest, I feel like the cons outweigh the pros. And this is something I will be skipping. It is a great game and the port looks amazing. I just feel like if you have another console, just play it there. Now, a game that I could play on other consoles and I was very excited for, but I always heard the rumors of it coming to the Switch 2, and I thought, I'll just wait. But now, I'm not going to be picking this up on the Switch 2, and that is for Persona 3 Reload. So it got shown off in the Switch 2 Direct, and I thought, okay, it looks okay, I guess. But then, it's just a game, no DLC, fully priced at $60, I believe, hopefully not $70, I believe $60, and it's a game key card. It's like, yeah, dude, I'm good on that. But maybe the port will be amazing. Maybe it'll be something you will eventually pick up on sale or whatever, right? No. Atlus and Sega just put out a demo of Persona 3 Reload on the Switch 2. And if you were thinking about picking it up, I just want to let you know, play that demo and you'll probably change your mind. The demo is absolutely horrible. So not only is the game only 30 frames per second, but it has horrible frame pacing and feels worse than the PS4 version. And then I heard that like the PS4 version was already not good to begin with. So this is crazy, man. A 2-year-old game that, you know, they've had time to work on it. There's really no excuse for this. Again, a game key card. I don't know if the gigabytes are out there, like how much storage it is. If I can find that, I'll be putting that on the screen. But it's like, what are we doing here, man? It just seems like all the games that we were potentially excited to be able to play portably on Nintendo's new console, it feels like they're sucking like the excitement out of the air. Not only does the game not look great, but the fact that it's just a game. Final Fantasy VII Remake, you know, it has a lot of problems, but the game looks great, and it does come with the DLC, even though I think they should not include the DLC and make it a smaller download size. But it has a DLC. Elden Ring, whenever the hell that game comes out, is going to have the DLC. Cyberpunk had the DLC. Hitman included multiple games. So it just feels like a lazy attempt to resell this game. But ladies and gentlemen, you know I'm not done with the bad news. And it's not like I'm looking for the bad news, but I think it's important for Nintendo YouTubers to call out things that are not great sometimes. I don't like when I see everybody on Twitter or YouTube sugarcoat everything with Nintendo, because if we're not vocal and we don't push back, there's no chance in hell they're ever going to change these bad business practices in the gaming industry. So, yeah, I think it's important to call this stuff out. But another game I was insanely excited for, it's one of my favorite franchises of all time, is Borderlands 4. So, we have bad news for the Switch 2 version, but to be fair, this game launched pretty crappy across the board on PC and consoles as well. I'm not saying it's a bad game, and I do see some people are enjoying it and have had good experiences, but the majority, or at least what it seems like the majority, it's not going that way. So if the game is not running good on consoles and PC, what do you think about the Switch 2 version, which we already know is a stripped down version, right? I believe they said no split screen and maybe something else they had to take out. Even though the game is out on other consoles, it does not launch on the Switch 2 until the beginning of October. I think October 3rd, if I'm not mistaken. But there are people out there who have had their hands on it already, and they're just saying it's running absolutely horrible on the Switch 2. I'll be putting it on the screen right now, but you can see right here they're saying it ran like shit, bad texture, stuttering, frames per second drops when there was even more than one enemy. So, you know, it's not looking great for the Switch 2, and this game is launching in 2 weeks. So it's like, do you really think they're going to go ahead and rebuild it from the ground up and make it look better and better? And, you know, I like Borderlands, right? I think it's a fantastic franchise. I can't remember the guy who's in charge, Randy something or another. I'm just going to call him Randy Dumbass, because he's saying, like, the game should be more expensive. If you really like it, then you would pay whatever. And that if the game doesn't do good, it's not the game's fault, it's the gamer's fault. It's not somebody you want to get behind and make you feel happy about whatever product they're putting out. And like I said, I am a die-hard Borderlands fan, and I am going to pick this up. Definitely not on my Switch 2, and definitely not at launch. This game will go on sale within a few months, you know, and be super cheap probably on Xbox and PS5. But I just feel like with the popularity of the Switch 2, and everybody knew the Switch 2 was going to be popular, right? Even before it came out, there was like that small group of people saying, oh, it's going to fail another Wii U, or it's just a better Switch, who cares? But, you know, if you're being real, we knew this console was going to be popular. So these companies and developers and publishers, they knew the Switch 2 was going to be popular. So I feel like they did the bare minimum, or it seems like a lot of them are doing the bare minimum, and they know their game is still going to sell regardless, because everybody just wants to buy whatever's on the Switch too. And then you have companies like CD Projekt Red and Ubisoft doing damn miracles and actually putting in the work. So you have this divide right here where it seems like some companies are actually trying, some companies are taking shortcuts, and some companies are taking shortcuts and not trying at all. They're like, game key card, no DLC, bad quality, bad optimization, let's call it a day. So it just makes me cautious for the future of third-party ports. And we know first party is always going to be there. It's Nintendo. That's what they're known for. That's what they're always going to do a great job of. I said from the start, like, I was always very excited for third party on the Switch too. Game key cards are taking away a lot of that excitement, and then seeing the quality of a lot of these ports is taking away even more excitement. And then we have the prices, and I don't want to seem like everything is bad, but I also can't ignore all the stupid shit that is going on. So I think it's fair to call out a lot of this stuff. And yeah, I just like to give you guys a heads up because I don't want you to waste your money or to be uninformed, or I just like giving you guys all the information as best as I can, and then you can make whatever decision you see fit. You know what I mean? And then hopefully, if you're not happy with the stuff, we can be vocal, and hopefully stuff like this will change in the future if enough of us make a racket, if you will. Yeah, like I was saying, I don't want everything to seem negative or to have this theme of nothing is great and the Switch 2 sucks. Because you guys know I love the console. You know I love Nintendo still, and I'm going to buy their consoles and I'm going to play the games. But it's not going to be everything, you know? It's not going to be like, well, I'm blindly buying everything because we know the quality's there and it's going to be awesome and you're getting all this DLC and third party's great and stuff is affordable. I don't think that's the case. So, you know, fingers crossed things get better, but I thought the Switch 2 was going to be the place where I was playing first party and a lot of third party. But I've been buying a lot of PS4 and PS5 games. They're cheaper, you get the DLC, or maybe you get the DLC, but the quality's amazing, and I don't think it's worth a tax and a hit on quality and a lack of content for portability. But as always, let me know what you guys are thinking in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. If you made it all the way to this part of the video, seriously, hit a like and subscribe if you would like. And if you enjoy the content, follow me on Twitter and Instagram so we can keep the communities growing. And in 1 month exactly, I will be going out of the country for a month on an amazing trip. And just cool stuff coming up. And I'm done talking. Peace out.